A regnal year is a year of the reign of a sovereign, from the Latin regnum meaning kingdom, rule. The oldest dating systems were in regnal years, and considered the date as an ordinal, not a cardinal number. For example, a monarch could have a first year of rule, a second year of rule, a third, and so on, but a 0 year of rule would be nonsense. Applying this ancient epoch system to modern calculations of time, which include 0, is what led to the debate over when the third millennium began. Regnal years are finite era names, contrary to infinite era names, such as Christian era, Jimmu era, Jewish era, and so on. Reckoning in various cultures. In ancient times, calendars were counted in terms of the number of years of the reign of the current monarch. Reckoning long periods of times required a king list. The oldest such reckoning is preserved in the Sumerian king list in England, and later the United Kingdom, until 1963. Each Act of Parliament was defined by its serial number within the session of Parliament in which it was enacted, which in turn was denoted by the regnal year or years of the monarch in which it fell. In Canada, Acts of Parliament are dated by the session, the Parliament, the regnal year, and the calendar year. So, for example, a bill passed in the second session during the period spanning 2007-2008 would be dated thus: Second Session, 39th Parliament, 56-57 Elizabeth II. 2007-2008. The Zoroastrian calendar also operated with regnal years following the reform of Ardashir I. While not strictly a regnal year, time in the United States of America can be derived from the Declaration of Independence. For example, the U.S. Constitution is dated as signed in the year of our Lord 1787 and of the independence of the United States of America the 12th, and presidential proclamations will often be ended in witness whereof I have hereunto to set my hand this ordinal day of month, in the year of our Lord, year, and of the independence of the United States of America the year 2015 is the 240th year of the independence of the United States of America. Time is also sometimes reckoned in terms of Congress, e.g., House of Representatives Bill 2 of the 112th Congress is dated 112th Congress, First Session. Asian era names. An era name was assigned as the name of each year by the leader of the East Asian countries during some portion of their history. The people of the country referred to that year by that name. Era names were used for over 2 millennia by Chinese emperors and are still used in North Korea, Japan and Taiwan. It could last from 1 year to the length of the leader's reign. If it lasted more than 1 year, numbers were appended to the era name. If it lasted the entire length of the leader's reign, then that leader is often referred to by that name posthumously. However, the leader was often given a more complex formal posthumous name as well. It should not be confused with the temple name, by which many leaders are known. The Lanfang Republic era, Republic of Formosa era and Republic of China era are era names without an emperor. The Confucius era and Juche era are based on the year of birth of the thinker or eternal president. The Wangdi era, Dangan era and Koki were counted in terms of the number of years of the reign of the first monarch. The Tibetan Empire, Kingdom of Khotan, Liao Dynasty, Western Xia, Jin Dynasty, Karakatan Khanate, Mongol Empire, Northern Yuan Dynasty, Qing Dynasty, Nguyen Dynasty, Joseon Dynasty, Bogd Khaganate of Mongolia and North Korea also use non-Chinese era names. Some are transliterations of their Chinese era names. Chinese era names were also employed in other East Asian countries. Abolished era names may be reused, for example as a means of claiming or denying political legitimacy. An example of this is that when the Yongle Emperor usurped the throne from his nephew, he dated the year of his accession as the 35th year of his father, the Hongwu Emperor's reign, i.e., 1402. Hongwu had in fact died in 1398, and the short reign of the Zhaoan emperor, who ruled between 1398 and 1402, was written out of the official record. They were sometimes still be used, was used on Japanese bronze mirrors, and were used in a Western region's tomb in a document. Kuchlug did not change their era name. After the Ming dynasty fell, the Joseon dynasty still used Chongzhen, and the Kingdom of Tungning still used Yongli Regnal years, thus denying the legitimacy of the Qing dynasty, and allegiance to the Ming regime. The short-lived Daxi Kingdom, post-Zhang Jianzhong, used the Gangji calendar without era names. Overseas Chinese used Longfei or Tianyun. Chinese era names. The Chinese eras or Nyan Hal were used sporadically from 156 BC and continuously from 140 BC. Until 1367 several were used during each emperor's reign. From 1368 until 1912 only one era name was used by each emperor, who was posthumously known by his era name. Korea used independent era names during reigning in all of its variety of nations. Korean endemic eras were used from 391 to 1274 and from 1894 to 1910. During the later years of the Joseon dynasty, years were also numbered from the founding of that dynasty in 1393. From 1952 until 1961, years were numbered in Dangye in South Korea, counting from the legendary founding of Gojoseon in 2333 BC. Japanese. The official Japanese system or Nengo numbers years from the accession of the current emperor, regarding the calendar year during which the accession occurred as the first year. The current emperor Akihito succeeded to the throne in 1989, and the new era name Heisei was decreed by the cabinet. Thus that year corresponds to Heisei I. The system was in use sporadically from 645 and continuously from 701. Until 1867 several were used during each emperor's reign. From 1868 only one era name has been used by each emperor. Since 1868 each emperor has been known posthumously by his era name. Notable king lists: Sumerian king list, Abydos king list, Turin king list, Assyrian king list, Babylonian king list, Canon of Kings, Liberian catalogue.